Hey, and welcome to Jarviskjir Narashiro Nights. I just had to look at the overlay to remember the name. We're already starting off. First of all, we're down 2 people, so that's a great start. I've spilt hot coffee on myself today, and gravy, and I stubbed my toe walking in to set up the stream, and I can't breathe. So I'm doing great. I'm loving it.
My sock has a hole in it.
That's, you know...
Right in the big toe.
See, I don't mind it when it's in the big toe.
It's
Other places... Yeah, the big toe is like... It's like when you get those, like, old jumpers where you make the hole for the thumb. Because the big toe is basically just the thumb of the foot.
The big toe is basically just the thumb of the foot. That is objectively true.
I don't appreciate socks.
I don't either. I only wear them when I'm wearing shoes. I have people like Ian and Neil who wear like socks and slippers all the time, and I'm like, nah, I can't do that. I need to be barefoot.
You know how bird feet have that like claw on the back of them? I wish that humans had like a thumb on the back of their foot so we could like grab stuff with their feet. That'd be sick. Anyways.
I like walking around barefoot. I don't do it too much because I'm super scared of like glassing myself. Just walking on,
Not in a cool way.
Yeah. What? Anyway. Drow don't like socks, confirmed.
It's true.
How? No, we know how you're doing. Bad socks. The more appropriate question is, what were you doing last week? Unfortunately, I'm not doing very good memory-wise. So I would really like it if Dungeon Dad could give me a recap. And this isn't even me throwing you under the bus. This is me just having like a major malfunction.
Well, let me tell you
Please.
The tale of last week's session. We did, and by we I mean Rakath and Yuna did a bunch of soul fuckery autopsy shit. We met with a gnome who was displeased with us at first and was then tortured into being our friend. And then
that's very typical for you guys.
It's so typical for us. We just tortured him until we didn't, and then we went and got drinks. And made him question his entire life choices, which is
cool. You made this like fair like religious night, like this crusader drink and experience the emotions of many other cultures and people.
I believe Yuna said, hey, do you want to experience what everyone around you is experiencing, and then just cast a spell on him.
He said no, and then she did it anyway.
I did it anyway, but he has to activate it.
That's true. You're right. It's
so
like, I gave him the gun, but he shot it. Like, what are you doing?
Making horrible choices, apparently.
That's
but yeah, no,
deep.
that was great. He loved it. He loved it.
He's your friend now.
Yeah, we're pals. We had some downtime. The gang gambled a shit ton. While they were doing that, I did the responsible thing and left them alone. Went to town. Boss got some new plate armor. That was great.
Yes!
And now I'm coming back, and the rest of the gang just finished winning a beer golf tournament, and we won 10,000 gold, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And I believe it was Rakath who actually won the whole thing.
It was Rakath. It was between Rakath and Rofi at the end.
By a difference of 1 on a die roll, he
yes!
came out on top.
Very close. An exciting
Actually, I think
finish.
The rolls were the same. They both rolled 19s. He said the higher modifier.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is crazy because they both rolled 20s in the round before that.
They're very good at coin golf, apparently.
Apparently. And I think that's kind of where we're at.
That is, yeah. That was literally the end. was the photo finish with the novelty check. So this session starts the morning after. After, I imagine, copious amounts of drinking, revelry, excitement after winning a lot of money. And the tavern itself, the casino, is alive with so many people in from out of town, all these different gnomish enclaves coming together. It's just a good atmosphere for partying, which of course you do to quite a lot of excess. While the pitiful humanoids who need to sleep do so, Voss comes back to paradise, seeing the casino being noticeably well used. They still haven't been able to clean it up properly from the night before. There's like magical remains of like fairy fire and things stuck to the ceiling, cups, coins, drinks all over the place, people who are just kind of still there who are asleep. And they're cleaning it up, but the people who are cleaning up are also clearly also hungover, so it's not really doing so well. You come back
doing that
this
thing where they're kind of like picking up like a can here or there and just hoping other people do most of the cleanup. Like,
yes, what I do at
everyone's
parties. Yes. Just a reminder, because you guys reminded me of this before the stream. There is a week until the Azet Enclave comes for diplomacy.
So we have another week of downtime.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Sure
You know where the party would likely be. I mean, it's the same room.
I'm assuming they're in the same place. Yeah, well, we said we were staying in the same place with that gnome. So yeah, I'm just gonna ride back in, tie up scritches in the beetle house. And... it's called a stables. Yeah, I just realized that like the equivalent of that would be calling a stable a horse house, which I don't regret.
I actually don't have much issue with that, to be fair.
I mean, this is the house for horses. So yeah, I'll tie up scritches in the stable. Then just go and find Yuna, I guess, or find the party, which at this point is Yuna. Let's go back to the hotel. They're probably not up yet. It's relatively early still, I imagine.
Yes, you would be, you know, coming in the wee hours of the morning of the cycle.
Elves don't sleep, so I'm awake.
Yeah, exactly. You would notice him come in.
Hi, boss.
Yuna? What, I'm just like, I'm looking around at the state of the place, like, what have you been up to the past few days?
So, Backhat won the tournament.
That's which
and
tournament?
made a
would
lot of
that
money.
be?
The coin one. Hold.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I believe, what's his name? Hal spoke of that briefly.
Yeah.
How much money did he win? That's very exciting.
10,000 gold.
I see. And I just like look around the room like I understand. Is Rakhav like in here anywhere?
Rakhav would be in, you know, it's if you remember, your suite is like 4 rooms with like a central room, so he would be in his own one right now. Just you can see him, just the shape of him on top of the bed. Actually, I almost imagine that Rakhav probably doesn't sleep in the bed, because he doesn't at home. He probably sleeps on the floor.
Yeah, totally.
He seems to be the kind of person that would find a bed too comfortable.
Yeah.
But you can see him. He's in there.
Okay.
Rofi's probably asleep in the doorway to his room. Not quite managed it.
You know, it seems we've made more money doing this than actual diplomacy and trade negotiations back in the city. So I suppose there's something to be said for random chance. And how is... I forget his name.
Tien.
Out of character. Tien, right. How is Tien still enjoying the festivities? Or has he tired of such things?
I'm gonna open the door. We've been storing our gnome.
He is asleep face down on the bed. In armor.
Sleeping off his enjoyment, I see.
That's gonna give him a point of exhaustion.
Note that.
So I think we had most of the money transferred to an account.
That is
And I think we
wise.
still have. We should let Jareko know that it's going to be there.
That is also wise. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm sure
so
he would be very distressed to see such a high sum of money suddenly appear without any cause, apparently.
Your armor looks great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I did what you suggested. I met with Captain Kato,
Oh, good.
and she was able to show me the smiths that they use in the High City and was able to help me get it commissioned. So you can rest
Very good.
assured you won't have to deal with any unpleasant, foul-mouthed smiths of the Undercity.
Excellent. All right, so back to Narashiro. Are you all packed up?
I mean, I haven't unpacked yet, so technically, yes.
All right,
Fair
well,
enough.
I'm gonna get my stuff together.
yeah,
We're
okay.
gonna Narashiro.
Boop. You get back on. Anything you want to do before you leave?
I don't think so.
I mean, do you want to roll your portents for the day, just in case?
You are not allowed to gamble anymore in this casino. This has been announced. You can still game, but not for money.
Can't prove that we're cheating, but
No, it's literally just the amount of money you won.
yeah. All right, so there's
Considering
that.
those are average, I suppose.
7-Eleven.
Time to move along. Damn
And
right.
Rakath took out 1,000 gold to keep with them, so we'd have 9,000 transferred.
Okay. Cool.
I assume they don't need more than 1,000.
How are you gonna waste 1,000 gold staying in a place like this? Pittance, right? So, you get back on Scritches and start your way back to Narashiro. It's a very easy route. Paradise is one of the few non-Drow settlements so close to Narashiro that there's no risk of being attacked, even if there might be a war on. There's no real concern, and you can get back to Narashiro with no real problem. Would you be going any kind of haste or just at your own pace? Because it takes around 3 days to get back. Which means you can get there and back within
Within the 1 week.
the downtime. Yeah.
Yeah, then we'll have like a day there, basically.
Yeah, that's fine, I think.
Okay, as long as you don't need more time than that, then that's...
No. That's fine. Maybe we should hurry a little bit.
You can
Okay.
always because there's 2 levels of going faster, right? There's the traveling slow and stealthy. There's traveling normally. There's traveling fast, but still, you know, having breaks. And then there's traveling super fast, no stopping.
The old forced march.
The old forced beetle march.
So
Yeah.
not quite forced march.
Yeah, you could just go fast. The downside of going fast is you're less likely to spot things, but you're in, you know, Queendom territory. What could possibly go wrong? And that
Let's find out.
would cut the time down by quite a lot.
We'll do that.
More like 2 and a bit days instead of 3. You get back to the city, and it's you know, I think I may have described this when Voss went back to the city. there's nothing out of the ordinary happening in Narashiro right now. Sometimes, you know, when you enter, you can clearly tell in the areas by and through the gates that something is going on, right? But right now, it's calm. It's regular business. People are going about their day. Slaves are being sold. Magic is being weaved. Potions are being sold. Things like that. I suppose one minor thing of note is that these entrances, considering you most likely enter in the kind of noble height of the city you live in, you see a lot less dwarves and illithid and deep gnomes in Narashiro than you did, you know, a month or two ago. Just with kind of how things are going and how tensions are rising more and more. You usually would see a merchant of them in these kind of entrances doing some kind of trade or diplomacy. That's not really going on right now. But who cares about them, right?
I mean, I will mention that probably doesn't bode well for our family and what we do.
Yeah.
Right?
True that.
Absolutely not.
Justin Trudeau. All right. So, yeah, okay. So, what is our plan here?
Yeah, what are you doing in the city?
We have some time.
You have you know, let's just be generous. You have like 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go talk to my brother to see how he's doing.
Awesome. You get back to the house, and when you get back to the house, Draco is not in his office. He's in the living room, reading a large tome, which both of you would recognize as being a holy book to the Church of the Usurper Queen, which is fairly unlike him. But he doesn't look like he's been crying for several days on end, which is where you when you left him. You walk up to him and say it's weird, and
I'm gonna give him a hug.
He will hug you back.
Oh.
And will say, Captain Cato came to me concerned when she heard what happened, and she actually gave me this, and it's surprisingly welcoming to read scripture in such times of turmoil.
Huh.
Yeah, I haven't been the best elf I could be, I think. And
no,
hopefully
don't say that.
I can be better.
Well, so Rakath won 10,000 gold at the casino. Most of which has been transferred in the accounts.
Oh, to us? Well, we should go to the bank and check. We shouldn't just hope that 9,000 gold just floats around. I mean, this was in paradise, right? That's where you went. Shouldn't trust gnomes with such a large amount of gold, so we should absolutely check.
Oh, okay.
Although, admittedly, they make quite good goldsmiths. He's like packing a couple of things up into a little kind of... it's a fanny pack. He's got a fanny pack. There's no other way to describe it. It's couture, it's fabulous, but it's practical. And we'll make your way to the local bank. Banks in Narashiro are not incredibly common. The way banking kind of happens is usually in guild, amongst the large guilds who have the money for it to go around. So it's more like kind of what you guys do, where the bankers will go out to see people more often, but because this is quite short notice, you're going to see them. And it's, as you might expect in, you know, an old style movie, there's lots of little desks with little lamps, and there's Drow bankers having these long conversations with big tomes of accounting and things like that. Thrilling service. And of course, what might go without saying, is an incredibly high amount of guards here. Because another service they absolutely would do is safes and lockboxes and things. It's not the core thing. You're more likely to ask the banking guild to install you a safe. But there's a lot of people who don't trust their own house. You would approach. I imagine all three of you, right? There's no real reason for Voss to sit out on this one.
No, for sure.
And what do you mean there's no random banker generator? Excuse me, I want a bunch of stereotypes, please. You go up, shake hands. They are a fairly old elven woman. All the bankers are, of course, quite a level of nobility themselves. And Draco would introduce you and House Domesticos, but would actually kind of defer to Yuna to kind of explain what the situation is and what's going on, because he doesn't know and is also, being a bit more polite.
Oh, you won money. It came in from Paradise. It should be 9,000 gold.
It should be 9,000 gold. Well, you do have money coming in from Paradise. I believe there may have been a missed communication. 9 gold has come in into your accounts deposited. The rest, is not here.
I'll get Draco.
He looks to you and is like, well, that simply is not correct. We have 10,000 gold that we earned in Paradise, our house. So 9,000 of that should be deposited here. I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. The message we received from the bankers in Paradise is 9 gold to be delivered to your account.
Well, alright. We'll just go yell at them when we go back, I guess.
That would be a wise choice, says the banker.
Alright, well, tea?
And Draco's like, we'll get up and thank them for their time. A process that takes an awful long time. There's a lot of greetings and goodbyes for a very short meeting. Thus is the elven way, it's not just Drow. And Star Wars was like, well, it couldn't be that easy. 10,000 gold. And when you said it, I thought it was a trick, a little game you were playing. Couldn't be that easy.
Well, Rakat's going to be super disappointed, but we can go back to Paradise, and we're planning on going back there anyway, because we have actually a diplomatic meeting.
Very good.
The gnomes of Abanir?
Okay. So the gnomes we were having trouble with the crystal generation.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad that diplomacy is not being made with a blade. That might prove blah, 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 blah. I'm glad diplomacy is not being made with a blade. That's...
I'll kind of shrug and look at Voss, like, in the air.
It has been unnecessary as of yet.
Well, it may always be necessary, but you know how it is, and maybe we'll need to have some talks with some bankers. It's not entirely impossible that it's gone missing somewhere within the banking guild of Narashiro, but usually these things are quite proper. I mean, you can't become a bank of some renown without some credibility.
Well, maybe it was a mistake on the gnome's end.
If it's a simple mistake, then maybe we can get more money out of it.
That's a good point.
For our turmoil.
Of course. The fact that they would make such a mistake during a period of mourning, no less.
Period of mourning, period of war. We need to defend our families against supposed incoming enemies. You know how it is. We need to spin this as much as possible. It's all this polite feather talking that's going to make us... it's what our family's supposed to be quite good at. That and leading armies, but that's a different part of diplomacy.
I didn't know that we did that.
It's less important. Well, our great-grandmother, the painting we have over your wall, led a war against the dwarves.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that.
It's diplomacy when you're intending to make them surrender and not completely raping out the race. Anyway, what do you guys... Oh?
I
More
wanted to
talking
get
points? Yeah. I was going to say, you guys can go... most likely have some of this conversation during tea, unless Voss wants to take Yuna to his new tea house.
I mean, I was planning on doing that, but I was planning on doing that when we're not with Jericho because
Okay, fair.
he's whatever.
Wow!
Oh. He tries so hard.
Yeah,
He's
so
trying lightly.
We've all been too hard on him.
during, you're having tea and some sweet cakes and things like that, he'll ask a lot about what happened in Paradise. He's... making a bit of an effort. A lot of it goes over his head. He doesn't really seem into gambling, which is mostly what you did. But
Talking about the explosions.
the explosions do interest him. And then there's the line was like, well, you do make sure you're careful out there if this stuff is going to explode and things like that.
One thing you might find interesting too, I'll talk to him about our little meet and greet with the slave owner and just kind of give him the lowdown about that whole situation.
It is worrying to know that there are people in our culture that would wish to destroy it.
This is true. However, the people who wish to destroy it are usually not on the culturally sophisticated end of the structure that our culture has taken. They merely wish the same that all beings wish, which is to claim something of their own. Now, while they may resort to wanton aggression, that is at least something we can use if directed at the right source.
Anything that we can do against the slave rebellion is contracts made against with the Daimals. I know Captain Kato is very interested in this. It'll be all kinds of benefit for our house to quash them. I don't think outright destruction would be wise. I believe Rakath talked about finding ways to neuter them. Because if you completely eradicate something like a rebellion, it will just come back again. And that's always something to be careful of.
This is true. It is also worth noting that the rebellion, they do not have any friends in the city, or very few. So, if we become their only friend and direct them towards our rivals, while simultaneously quashing them without their knowledge, we could get the best of both worlds, so to speak.
That is an astute plan ringed with dangers. If any other house, even the Daimal's forces who hire us, realize that is what we are doing, even for the greater good, we would be branded as heretics and traitors ourselves. And you would be cast out as Ronin, no doubt, and we would most likely be sacrificed in some grand show, some grand execution. It could be wise. I believe it would even be in our ability to do such a thing with levels of subterfuge and cunning that no harm would come to us, but there is always the risk.
Oh, there is much risk in doing any form of diplomacy, especially something like this. However, most things that are worth doing do not come without an element of risk. Now, of course, if you wish, we would not engage in such things, but there are opportunities to be taken.
I urge caution. That is all. Because if it comes to saving your life when the forces of our daimao believe you to be a traitor, or saving the life of my sister, the choice would be incredibly evident.
I would assume it to not even be a choice.
Oh,
I just want to cast this emotional conversation. Although it's taken a very grim turn.
He's cautious. While it is a good idea, it's his job to worry, essentially, right? So he's just kind of a little worried over the lot of you. A little
And
stressed
how
out.
is Voss feeling?
Yeah, so from this instance, literally, the conversation what I was literally about to say to him was simply, I assumed it was understood that my life was only to serve as a shield.
Yes, it is understood and it is fact. I am reiterating that for effect.
I'm gonna roll my eyes at this conversation.
Right? And like from Voss, you just sense sincerity, I guess. Like he genuinely believes what he's saying. And there's not really, it's not even so much of a thing like he feels good about it or bad about it. It's like he's just stating a fact. Like the sky is blue. Like,
how would you know?
Well, yeah. The caves are dark. But yeah. You just say, you need not remind me of my duty.
He just kind of gives you a look while like sipping at tea.
I'm gonna let that elvish pause like sit there for a second.
Absolutely.
And well, this conversation has taken a dour turn, which is unfortunate.
How has it? What do you mean?
Just gonna give him a look.
I too am curious to know what you mean.
I'm just telling you to be careful because slave rebellions can get violent.
I can see the future. It's fine.
It will most certainly get violent. The only thing we need to ensure is that that violence is pointed in the right direction. It is not a question of if there will be bloodshed, merely whose blood is shed.
Certainly so. Yes.
I would see that it is not ours, but rather that of other lesser houses that do not contribute to our society or culture anyways.
Pause. He doesn't have anything to say to that.
Well, you two are no fun to have tea with.
Drigo does kind of like look down into an empty cup. I'm sorry, I'm not any fun. I guess that Rakath is far more fun. That beast that creature that lurks in the darkness, is he more fun?
Very much so.
I think your definition of fun is not exactly in line with the church's.
Rakath is wonderful. How could you say that?
Easily. But he does laugh when saying that, to be fair. And then there's that child, who I do not understand why he hangs around.
He's a deep gnome thing creature.
I have looked at his paperwork, he's a child.
No, his paperwork's fake.
You can't fake paperwork in this city, the guards would realize.
No, they don't.
We're not some high elves who don't check paperwork. We check paperwork diligently.
I feel you would be shocked at how many miscreants are in fact able to slip past the gates.
Hey, imagine that to be so.
Our guards do not guard things so much as they seek to protect themselves.
Maybe it would be worth hiring some bodyguards for the building.
It's not a bad idea.
You are away so often.
I would just ensure, or at the very least request, that you send them my way before actually hiring them.
That is a wise choice. I can hire some of the graduates from your program when it is in motion, whenever that is.
That reminds me, I should check on that while we're here, just in case there is anyone waiting.
Just sitting outside.
Right?
They think it's a test.
Exactly.
You need like a comeback whenever, like, sign, like, we'll be back in 7 days.
Out gambling.
Yeah. Gone to paradise! In the front of your dojo.
Yeah. Right.
Awesome.
So, the reason why I wanted to have you guys out for tea is because I think I should take Voss to be my husband. And I'm just gonna sip my tea.
He doesn't like overly react to anything. His eyes just slide to Voss.
And I would be doing literally the exact same thing, but looking at him with just like a slightly confused expression on my face. But like, I'm assuming there's more to this.
I have sense emotion cast. So.
Yes,
that's so
you
true.
do. Jericho's emotions are probably not as shocked as you would expect them to be. There's like the there's surprise, but not shock, and then actually like just kind of scheming mentality, which you've sensed from him many times. This just thinking, this whirring of the cogs in his head, which is neither positive or negative, really.
I feel like Voss's emotions are very similar, except instead of scheming, you just sense more curiosity, like, because he's assuming that there's scheming. He's just not a schemer.
Yeah, I'm just gonna shrug and just say it makes sense.
He would no doubt sire strong children. There is the question of not necessarily his bloodline, but his family.
Right.
The relation goes back
You're here.
many times. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your family owns a shrine? Operates a shrine?
Correct. We have a temple embedded within one of the cavern walls.
Perhaps it would be... Are there any living relatives?
Several, yes.
Then it might be wise to go and meet them before making such a choice. It is always intelligent to meet the family before you
But
commit
do
to
I
such
go
a
or do
choice.
you go?
Realistically, we should both go, but maybe not at the same time, to see how they treat us separately.
Okay. Who goes first?
Well, you're dealing with some business with the gnomes, so maybe I should go.
Okay.
Or would it be better to surprise them with a visit from Voss? Actually, it would be better for me to go before they have any message from Voss. Complete surprise. Yes. Yes.
I would like to say, if you do decide to go and visit my family, you should, at the very least, give warning that you will be approaching you, so they expect you. While a surprise may be a pleasant thing for many houses around here, this temple also doubles as a sort of fortress. It would be extremely unfortunate if they were to loose arrows at you as you approach, mistaking you for some kind of miscreant.
Yeah, I understand. I will have a message sent to them, perhaps an escort of my own, of some kind. Yes, it's a wise choice.
Univar, what made you think of this all of a sudden?
Oh, it's not all of a sudden. I imagine that Draco brought you into my company for such purposes, or at least was on his mind, and this way Ratcath will stop trying to whore you off to everybody.
Draco just
drink of my tea.
loudly puts a sugar cube in his tea.
Rakath does have a tendency to misunderstand my lack of relations as a sign of repression, perhaps. When I feel it is merely just a mismatching of ideals when it comes to such things.
But would your ideals align?
I guess.
I shrug.
That, I suppose, remains to be seen. I mean, we certainly get along fine.
Marriage is not about getting along, boss.
Oh, trust me, from what I have witnessed within my own family, I'm aware of that. I more so mean in terms of what our goals are. We're never at odds with one another when it comes to exacting a plan. My only question is, it is very uncommon for a samurai to wed someone he is in direct service to. I don't understand how that would affect my vows.
It would be a minor controversy, but it might be the kind of controversy that brings good attention rather than bad.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. I would ask Kato about that. She knows more of the religious implications of your vows and such. There is, of course, the matter that this marriage would not do much to increase the standing of the house. This would might not be incredibly important due to the work that you're currently doing. But I did always imagine you being married off to, I mean, someone in the high city, in all honesty. Someone close to the daimyo would be very likely. But she herself is not married. What was that?
I said I would love to take a second or third husband. I think Boss would make a fantastic first husband. He can keep the other ones in line.
He does nod at that and say, and it would give you plenty of time to sire and raise a strong child with the... I mean, his bloodline, completely different ancient breed of Drow. I mean, you just look at him. He's a brilliant specimen of musculature and the jaw structure, and everything is, I mean, you might say quite abnormal, but it's really the opposite of the fact that we have changed. from a far stronger place. And I mean, you may only have one child in you, so it might as well be a good one.
I want many, many children.
Well,
You just kind of see Boss be like, at that.
you better get started then. I approve of the idea. I'll meet with your family. I'll take the journey. I'll buy another beetle. Have an escort. It'll be a whole thing. I'll also have a message sent to you whether you're in the city or not when it's all done. And then you should best meet yourself.
I would ask Jariko, how is your sword play?
He splutters a little bit at his drink and says, I'm more for magic than swords, but I can defend myself.
Good. Because there is a very high chance that Lady Fyra, my aunt, the matriarch of House Nor, is going to want to duel you, possibly within the moments after you arrive. You will not defeat her. That is not the point.
It is not the point. It is the technique. I have lost many duels. I understand the point. I will practice some abjuration, I believe.
That would be wise.
I didn't know you knew any abjuration.
Not enough. I once had to have a duel before you were born, I believe, where I cast a shield around me and I managed to just delay the duel long enough that I didn't lose all respect. That's kind of my thinking.
She's also fond of poetry. So
Who isn't?
True, I suppose, but the older the better. So I do not know.
Maybe I will bring Kato then.
It would also.
You best just not hope that your family commits any sort of heresies, though, because she would sniff them out, and that is her job.
Heresy is in the eye of the beholder.
Let's hope not.
Let's.
Draco will get up, excuse himself, and say, I suppose I will be organizing a journey. And before you leave the city, the gardens have been set up, so do tell Kim and your goblin what you want growing.
Oh, good. What was the goblin's name again?
He's just as he walks away.
His name was.
His name's Runt, if I remember correctly.
Runt. Yes.
But I thought you gave him a name, did you not?
I think you were going to, but he kind of likes the name Runt.
Yeah, I was gonna name him Jerry, I think, with an I.
Yes.
So
Something
it's
like
fantasy.
that. So it's fantasy.
And Jariko will leave, leaving you two to your tea.
I feel like we just sit there in silence for a good 10 minutes. Which I guess is normal.
Which is funny, because I think it's normally a comfortable silence between Voss and Yuna, but right now it's an uncomfortable silence.
Yes, absolutely.
Eventually, after like a while, Voss will just speak up and just say, "Come, let's get it. Let's leave. Come with me. There's something I wish to show you."
Okay.
And now that Big Brother's gone, both literally and figuratively,
Big Brother is never gone in the city of Drow.
But the
There are
specific
many
Big Brother.
years.
Yeah. I will just kind of lead, up to the tea house that I was at with Kato.
Yes.
In the high city or on the way to the high city?
It's so, if you imagine the tiers of the city, where you are isn't the very top of Narashiro normal, Narashiro proper. There are towers that go beyond this, where the richest people who basically run the city live. And then above that is the high city, which is kind of its own separate entity.
Yeah.
It's up in that sort of part. So is the hospital that Yuna has deals with and things like that. So it's just a bit higher up than you.
Mm-hmm.
Evidence being it's the top of a building, Yes.
So yeah, we go there.
This place is rather brilliant. The Shallow Skull Tea House. Multiple floors, all in this kind of dome at the top of one of the towers and structures. It's kind of and this might be the completely wrong word, apiary? Is that where birds are kept? Or is that where bees are kept? It's one or the other.
The birds and the bees.
Yes. Very appropriate right now.
Bees. Just bees.
Well, it's not bees. There's birds. There are trees and birds, and bird song, more specifically songbirds that live here, and in the glass chamber, multiple different floors. Aviary. That's it.
Aviary.
What a difference a small pea can make.
Props to Google for knowing what I meant by apiary, but for birds. Being able to pull that up.
The people in this tea house, it's very calm, it's very quiet, there's a little bit of music that drifts through, but mostly it's the music of the songbirds. The people around here you can know they're proper Drow because it's near silent. The conversations are very quiet and very hushed. It's exactly the kind of atmosphere that you want. You can, someone like Yuna can feel the magic kind of radiating from some of the teas and the teapots and things, because they do actually produce magical teas. If you would want to spend money on it, they actually brew special teas that give you a +1 to a skill for the rest of the day, since until your next long rest, for 20 gold. Yes. It's very common for diplomats to come here and have a sweet tea.
Yeah. I would love to get one that will enhance my charisma.
Persuasion, deception, or intimidation?
Persuasion? The one that's talking good.
Yeah. You say, you say that to the person, they're like, yes, understandably so. We'll reach to a very particular kettle, all coloured ceramics, very beautiful and kind of glossy. Pours a tea that almost hums in the cup, and then kind of got a little bit of foam art on top, even though it's tea. Little snacks and sweets and things, and this tea would be very fruity, very fragrant, very smooth. Loosens the lips.
Me.
Surprise! Oh, baby. These are 20 gold each, by the way.
Yeah.
I assume it's Drow custom for the woman to pay.
Yes.
That's fine.
Because I have 6 silver. And I've not added any gold to my inventory since we started the game. With the exception of the money you gave me to buy armor.
So quite appropriately, you get a tea that boosts your arcana.
Nifty.
It's a kind of bluish color served in a glass cup so that you can see the kind of blue glow from it. It's kind of hard to describe the taste of magic, but that's what it tastes like. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an arcana check on this, because I would love to replicate this in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not gonna happen.
It actually seems that a lot of effort is going in to protect this from being stolen.
The secret sauce.
The secret sauce. We just got a guy in the cupboard making the secret sauce.
It would probably be very rude.
God.
I took out my traveling alchemical equipment.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it does actually seem that a lot of effort is going into making sure that this is the only place that this is served. Although you have heard that, you know, especially in places, you know, maybe the high city, they'll do occasional, you know, have an event, you can hire them to serve tea in it and stuff like that. But, you know, they don't do tea to go or anything like that.
Alright, good to know.
Okay.
Keep your secrets.
My only question for you outside this game is, are we taking a break or are we just...
This is a perfect time to take a little break.
That was my thoughts exactly before we get into a whole other conversation.
So, let's be back in a few minutes.